So in this video, I'm going to share with you my experiences with social anxiety, along with some of the things that I've done to help me overcome it. So before I share the things that actually helped me overcome it, I'd like you to get a little understanding of what led me to become socially anxious. So when I was a kid, I was reasonably confident and outgoing. I had plenty of friends. I didn't feel uncomfortable or lacking confidence in social situations. I felt quite good. That was until I reached roughly the age of 13. I began to get sucked into drug culture, and as a result, over time, my mental health began to deteriorate. By the time I reached 16 or 17 years of age, I was having multiple psychotic episodes which were drug induced, and these episodes brought about a lot of paranoia and distrust in people, and this in turn resulted in me isolating myself from the world. So I'd literally buy 50 to 70 euros worth of weed every single day. I'd go up to my house and I'd sit there on my own smoking me brains out. While in the moment this felt like the right thing to do, I felt very distrustful of people, felt very uncomfortable out in public. The right thing for me to do was to avoid that. While it did feel like the right thing to do, it was actually the worst thing that I could have done. Isolate myself when I knew in the back of my mind that I needed to get around people that could actually help me and encourage me to overcome the difficulties that I was experiencing. I was blessed by luck, a lot of luck. By the time I reached 18 years of age, I was offered a house out of the area in which I grew up in. Now, I come from a background of very supporting and decent parents. My mother and father were around. They're still around today, thank God. And the trouble that I was causing them, it wasn't fair. So they were my main inspiration when I was moving. Obviously, I knew my mental health was getting really, really bad. So that was a big motivator. I wanted to improve that. I didn't want that to get any worse. So that was a big motivator. But I didn't want to take the old me up to the new house in which I was moving up to. So I decided to change my ways. I'm going to knock the drugs on the head. I'm going to try my best to get back on track. Now, at this time, I had no school experience. I did go to school, but I was always on the mitch. I failed my junior cert. I didn't sit my leaving cert. So while I wanted to make a change, I didn't feel like I had much prospects for work at the time. So I was in a new place in life, but I still felt very, very lost. I was socially isolated as well. So what really helped me kind of get to where I'm at today in life, there's a number of things, and these things have actually been scientifically proven to help with social anxiety. The first thing that I done was I began to psycho-educate myself. So I realised that what got me to the place that I was in life was my ways of thinking and behaving, and that if I wanted to not only get to a new place in life that was better, but stay there, my old ways of thinking and behaving were not going to do that for me. So I needed to learn about the workings of my own mind. So I started to study psychology on a personal level. The things that I really dived into and that really helped me were cognitive behavioural therapy, along with acceptance and commitment therapy. I'm going to kind of elaborate on both of those in a couple of moments. So I started to psycho-educate myself, and this really, really helped me, because I went from a place of hating myself and beat myself up because of the way I was thinking, feeling and behaving, isolate myself and stuff like that, to realising that my social anxiety served a purpose at a time. Without going into things in detail, there was a time when I really needed to be careful and conscious in public, you know. So at that time, if I lacked social anxiety, or if I felt really comfortable in public, it could have been dangerous for me. So it helped me realise, when I started to learn about my mind, that my social anxiety did serve a purpose. Right now, however, this is back then as I was learning about my mind, it no longer serves this purpose. So I have to retrain my brain that, right, things are okay now. The social anxiety, it might be necessary the odd time, but most of the time it's not. I had to teach my brain that, and that's just what I done. Now, the second thing that helped me was meditation, and the third thing was exercise. Meditation, very, very effective. As you'll learn if you look into acceptance and commitment therapy, or even cognitive and behavioural therapy, is that sometimes we merge with our thoughts, that we become our thoughts. We believe that thoughts are things. Meditation helped me kind of detach from such thoughts. I like to look at it from the perspective of, you're looking at clouds. You see a nice cloud, it's a lovely cloud, you run after it because it looks lovely, and as you're running towards that, you see a cloud that doesn't look too nice, you start to run away from it, and then as you run away from that, you see another cloud that looks nice, you're running towards that because it looks nice. As you're on the way over there, you see a cloud that doesn't look nice, you're running the up. That is draining. That's the way I was living with my thoughts. I'd see a negative thought coming to mind, I try to run away from it or try to push it away. I'd see a thought that is comfortable, I try and hold on to it. It drained me out. The more I practice meditation, the more it helped me kind of look at my thoughts the same way I'd look at clouds. Just look, no longer clinging, no longer running. Exercise was very effective as well. I needed an outlet for my anxiety, and exercise gave me that outlet. Not only did it give me a positive outlet, something to kind of fill me time up with when I felt a little bit lost in life, my body began to change over time. Naturally, I've always been thin and skinny. The more I went to the gym, the more my body began to change. This gave me a lot of confidence in social situations. And then the fourth thing that really helped me, it kind of falls into the first thing, cognitive behavioural therapy and acceptance and commitment therapy, but it's exposure. I began to gradually and carefully expose myself to the things in which triggered anxiety. At this time, even getting on buses triggered a lot of anxiety. I'd have plenty of moments. I'd have to go into town, for example. I'd get onto the bus. I'm literally on the bus for 5 minutes and I'd feel like throwing up, so I'd jump off the bus and walk the rest of the way. And the more this began to happen, the more I avoided buses altogether. Even standing in lines in shops was very anxiety provoking, or even interacting with the cashier, so I'd avoid it. So with me psychoeducation, I realised, right, I have to expose myself gradually and carefully to the things in which I fear. That started first with buses. Every day I'd get onto a bus and go into town. Initially this triggered a lot of anxiety for me, but the more I done it, the more I began to feel more comfortable and confident sitting on the bus. Over time I started to go to public events as well. Just like jumping on the bus, initially this was very anxiety provoking. As soon as I'd sit down, I'd want to jump up and get out of it, but I knew that this is what I have to do. The more I done it, the more comfortable I began to feel while sitting in public events. And after a year or so of going to public events, I started to actually speak at them. Just like jumping on the bus and going to the events as an observer. Initially this was very anxiety provoking, but I knew I had to do it. And the more I done it, the more comfortable and confident I felt while doing it. After I done that, I then began to run exercise classes. I'd literally teach classes to a group of people. Now when I started doing this, very anxiety provoking, but the more I done it, the more comfortable and confident I felt. Over time then I started to do mental health workshops as well in front of groups of people. Very anxiety provoking initially, but over time, again, more comfortable and confident the more I done it. So exposing myself to my fears was a game changer for myself, and it is one of the most effective things that you can do to help you manage and overcome social anxiety yourself. However, I do want to make it clear, you want to be very, very careful doing this. Your best bet would be to hire a professional, someone who is well versed and experienced in helping people with this, to help you with it. Now, if that doesn't suit you to do it, I would recommend do it, but do it in a very cautious and incremental and gradual manner. Choose one thing that triggers a little bit of fear, but something that is doable and manageable, and then do it often for 30 days. For the next 30 days, choose something that is a little bit more anxiety provoking, but again, something that is manageable and doable. Do that for 30 days, and every 30 days build upon the prior 30 days. Now, if you do this every month for 6 months, you will notice a big improvement. Again, just be really cautious and careful doing it. So that's basically that. That's how I overcame my social anxiety. Before I finish, I want to make it very, very clear. When I say I've overcame social anxiety, I don't mean I no longer feel anxious in social situations. I do. I think everybody does. However, social anxiety no longer governs my life. And as a result of following everything that I've mentioned within this video, I now have the confidence, despite how anxious I may feel in a social situation, to manage it. I hope you found this video helpful. If you have, be sure to like it and subscribe to my channel.